Alright, Charlotte Roval, which I believe is the last road course race of the season. Yeah, what a good one to go out on, I guess, because it's a little more intense this year because we have almost no rear spoiler, so car's really loose on entry compared to last year. So we're just going to get to it. Number one's going to be tires, mostly your rears because, yeah, it's important to protect them, and there's a variety of ways that you can do that, which I'll explain later. Number two, it's a road course that's pretty challenging, mostly on entry because there's no rear grip whatsoever, so that leads me to talk about overdriving. And if you overdrive here, you're probably going to bin it, spin it, or miss the corner entirely. And number three, which is something I don't bring up very often, it's about multi-class racing. Even though this isn't multi-class, there's some people out there that are quite off base and they're trying to do the right thing by, moving over, but only do it when you're sure that nobody has a chance of running into you, or make yourself predictable. Because I've seen many times people go for the outside to pass a lapper and they move up last second and forcing the guy to either run him over or pass him on, the inside. So that's something to watch out for. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and get to the lap and we'll see what we can do. Alright, fix it up, fixed weather. Only change I made to the fix set was the steering ratio to a 12-to-1 and 66% brake bias. And if you're wondering why my default is 99 degrees, well, that's pretty much what it gives you when you click test car on track under the fixed NIS, which starts a little bit later than a fix, so there's the difference. Now, my lap wasn't the quickest. It was just a decent reference, I guess. So let's just see how this was done. Alright, not the fastest. About a second off what people can do in qualifying in the fixed series. Alright, so one thing you might have noticed in that lap was a lot of curb usage in the right places, and then staying away from them in others. And plus the car bounces, the car over rotates really easy, and that's why we had to work the wheel there. Hand throttle together. So you want to get a good run off the last corner, which is one of these shitty chicanes, which is a million times better than Daytona's. So you'll be in second gear, hopefully, on the exit of this corner. Let me slow-mo it, because we're looking at these number markers here. I'm braking right around this too, maybe before it. Pretty hard, keeping it in second gear. You kind of want to arc it out, and then turn in, but if you arc it out too late, you'll miss the corner. You arc it in too early, you hit the curb, miss the corner, probably bounce yourself right into the wall. So you can see I'm using throttle to turn the car and actually keep it under control. So you got to play with the throttle. I can't really explain exactly how to do that, but you can just see it right here. Just pay attention to all this. I'll shut up. Just the amount of throttle control. Still in second gear, by the way. Use all the track. And we're going to make our way into the next corner, which is probably the loosest part of the track. Maybe. So I'm on the brakes pretty hard. Then you're going to gradually roll off them. Then let it roll from here on till you get to the center of the apex. There by the curb, we're going to touch the brakes a tiny bit more to get it slowed down. For this next portion, basically treat it as a double apex. Use the throttle to set your speed correctly. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to let it roll again back to the center of this. Use the throttle once I touch the curb. And you're going to see, once I get on more gas, the less wheel I'm using. So I want to power off still in second gear. This corner, again, one of the loosest sections. You want to start using the brake before you turn into that curb. So about a car length or two before the stripes start. So right here I'm on the brakes as straight as possible while turning. I know that didn't make sense, but still. Use the curves and let it roll. Here I'm using the brakes to slow it down for, again, another double apex. But you kind of want to get it. Alright, let me re-explain that. You see, I was on the brakes up until I was already turned in. Well, using the 66 brake bias, actually being on the brakes there was more stable than letting it roll, I think. But you can see once I get it turned into this second curb, which is the second part of the corner, I guess, that's when I let it roll on throttle once I get past it. Again, play with it. Set up for your left-hander here as close to the cones as you can get. Car's a little awkward through here. It's like pushing because of the bumpiness. And it's also loose in the rear. So you gotta play with it, try not to bounce your way into the wall. Tap the brakes there to get it set for this next left-hander, as close to the inside wall as you can get. Using throttle to power your way through, still in second. This is actually gonna be the first time we shift from second to third. And then third to fourth, briefly. Right there. Now I'm gonna brake at the 5 marker. Let me rewind that because I screwed up. Braking at the 5 marker, maybe slightly before it. Really hard on the brakes. This is using pretty much all the power of them. From fourth down to third. Third down to second here shortly. Kind of slow moted quite a bit. Third, second. And we're going to stay in second while braking pretty heavily. Once we approach the corner, we're going to release the brakes a little bit. More and more as I turn in. To the point where I'm not even using them. We're going to aim right for this blue turtle. It seems counterintuitive to hit it, but you can glide over it to set up for this next corner, which, if you take too much of the curb, it bounces you really hard. Notice I'm not on anything. Once I land, I guess, I'm on the throttle to get it to turn some more, to get as close to that outside wall, use all the track. Back up through the gears, second to third, and I'm going to run it out, red line through third gear. No shifting here. Then I'm going to start braking somewhere between this pit entry line and the one that I just crossed. So about right here, hard on the brakes. We're going to downshift from third to second right there. Before we approach a huge bump that you see right there. Still hard on the brakes. Same thing, second gear. The more I turn in, the less brake I use. Clip that curb, which I didn't cut enough of it, which kind of ruined my exit and entry to this corner. Yeah, I have to make sure. And once you get it pointed straight, stand on the throttle and hope you don't die. 117.8, not the fastest. Some guys are a little bit quicker. Some people were in the 116.9s. I believe I saw an A fixed, which is pretty fast. I was in Q, so, they really abused the car. But this was just, I guess, something to shoot for. Anyways, Sim Racing Chewy side.